Hello and welcome. I'm Nicole from Focus HR. In this video, I'll be sharing with you some important information to help you be ready for your first day of work. Your first day of your new job will most likely be a bit challenging for you, as it is for everyone. In your first week of work, there will be paperwork for you to complete, new people to meet, and lots of information to absorb. This can be very overwhelming. It's important that you listen carefully, ask questions if you don't understand something, and please ask for help if needed. You may have your photograph taken for your employee record and for an identification card. All information and images of you will be kept safe and secure by your employer. You may be provided with a uniform, personal protective equipment, and even tools for your job. Please take care to keep all items in good condition, but if something breaks or is not right for the job, please tell your supervisor. In our first video, we talked about the need to have a bank account, a tax file number, and a superannuation account. Please make sure you bring all of that information with you on your first day, as that is needed by your employer to set you up as an employee and to make sure you get paid. There may be more information required in your first week of employment, but your employer will let you know what they need. Let's turn now to our workbooks. Taking time off from work is sometimes needed. Your employer will have rules around taking time off. This might include if you or a member of your family or household is sick and you can't come to work, let your supervisor know as soon as you can. In most workplaces, a phone call or text message to your supervisor is needed. By doing this, your supervisor knows not to expect you to come to work that day, and it may give them a chance to arrange someone else to cover your shift if needed. You may need to provide your employer with a medical certificate from a doctor when you return from work if evidence of illness is requested. If you would like to take holidays, you need to talk to your supervisor about this well in advance of the time you want to take. Most workplaces will want at least 4 weeks' notice of any holidays or annual leave you might like to take. There are 9 public holidays in Queensland each year. Most employees are entitled to paid leave on those days, regardless of the reason for the holiday. For example, Easter in Australia includes 2 public holidays, Friday and the Monday. Even though many Australians do not practice the Christian faith that is related to these holidays, they are still entitled to that paid time off. If you are required to work on a public holiday, you will be paid a higher hourly rate for those hours of work. Let's turn now to your workbooks. If English is not your first language, please ask if you cannot understand something. This is very important because if you do not understand an instruction or a direction, you may put yourself or others at risk of injury. Although it is polite to smile and nod your head in agreement to your boss in many cultures, in Australia this is not required, and in fact it can be very confusing. In our culture, it is important to be honest and speak up. No one will be offended by you asking a question or asking for help. If you do not understand something, you must speak up. It is also very important to know that if you are ever treated badly, feel harassed, or are assaulted in any way, you must tell someone at work. If you are afraid to speak to your supervisor, talk to someone else. Please never suffer in silence. Let's turn now to our workbooks. In our last video, we talked about the importance of safety at work. If you are injured at work, please tell your supervisor straight away. No one will ever be in trouble for being injured at work. Your employer needs to know if something has happened, to firstly make sure you get the care needed, but also to make sure that the same injury or incident doesn't happen again. If you become sick at work, please let your supervisor know straight away. This is important because if you are not feeling well, you may not be fully focused on your work, but also if you are sick, you may pass your illness on to others if you stay at work. If you are sick, please follow the basic personal hygiene practices of washing your hands regularly, coughing and sneezing away from others, and wearing a face mask if required. In our first video, we talked about Australian culture at work. As there's more to learn about what is okay to do at work in Australia and what is not, let's talk a little bit more about culture and the maybe odd things Australians do. Small talk. At the beginning of most meetings and when they first arrive at work for the day, Australians tend to chat about non-work related subjects like sport, the weekend, the weather, or maybe a funny story about what their children did the night before. This is called small talk and is a way of bonding with people before you get into the serious work stuff. Australians are very direct. In many cultures, people tend to try and avoid confrontation by not addressing awkward issues, saying yes when they really want to say no, or hiding behind others. In Australian workplaces, you'll find that team members and bosses are quite comfortable in addressing issues directly. While this may be initially confronting, it means there is no mystery or guesswork about what is being said. G'day, or how's it going? How you greet people will leave a lasting impression on those around you. The standard Australian greeting is g'day or hello, how are you? Both show an interest in the well-being of whoever you are talking to. This will be appreciated and the person you are talking to will be more open with you in conversation. Also, you'll often hear Aussies starting conversations with "Hi, how's it going?" This is just another way to say hello, and they may not actually be asking you a question. You can respond though with "Good, thanks, how about you?" or "Not bad, thanks, how are you going?" When meeting someone for the first time, offer to shake their hand. Kissing and hugging is not appropriate as a greeting in the workplace. Australians talk about sport a lot. If you're looking to start a conversation with a colleague and immerse yourself in Australian workplace culture, talking about sport is a good place to start. Sport is a huge part of Australian culture, and almost everyone has a favourite code and team, and many are involved in community-level sports in their time off work. Sports such as Australian football, cricket, rugby, tennis and soccer create a lot of friendly conversation and light-hearted competition between workmates. Australians use slang in their conversations. Using slang words is part of most Australian workplaces. If you are still perfecting English, this can be tricky at first, but don't worry. As you spend more time in your job, you'll get the hang of Australians' unique language. Learning our slang like arvo for afternoon, or tucker for food, or flat out if you are very busy, will have you speaking like an Aussie in no time. Let's turn to our workbooks now. Eye contact. Making eye contact with someone that you don't know or someone in authority can be awkward and may not feel comfortable for you. In the Australian culture, this is a way to show respect and that you are listening to the person speaking to you. You don't need to stare into the other person's eyes constantly. Look away for a few seconds, but then return to eye contact. The final point I'd like to share with you is what Australian employers expect of new employees. Here are a few tips for you. Don't be late. Be safe in everything you do. Always be ready to learn. If something is wrong, please speak up. Come to work well rested, feeling healthy, and having a positive attitude. Attend every shift unless you are sick. Follow the rules. Maintain good personal hygiene. Treat everyone with respect. Work hard. Be ready to have a laugh and enjoy the friendly environment offered in Australian workplaces. Well, that's all for now. Good luck in your new job. and thank you for listening.